Good morning, welcome to this week's vlog. I'm back at Happisburgh on the Norfolk coast. Look at this, absolutely love this place. I wasn't actually planning on coming here, but I had a phone call, a WhatsApp message from Steve staying yesterday saying, I'm coming to Norfolk, Dave, do you fancy a trip? And he's with Paul Baker, or we're with Paul Baker, who's up at the beach there. Came up last night, stayed overnight at the camper, and it's now 4:06, so we've just walked onto the beach. Low tide was about half an hour ago, and before the sun comes up, I'm just planning on taking a couple of shots of these groins. I love these broken groins, they look so good. This is particularly drawn my eye, this big bit here, and it's trying to separate it out from the post behind. But once the sun comes up, this will be really harsh. At the moment, what I'm going to try and do is capture this subtle purple colour that we get before dawn. So really looking forward to this. It's going to be a great shoot, I think. So much to photograph. Let's do the first one. Been attracted to this, what looks like a crucifix. Quite like that idea, and it's leant over. It's almost like the sea battering the crucifix over. The power of the sea defences that used to be here are completely bashed. We've got the church looking very vulnerable up on the bank up there. It's interesting that it's a very long beach, and Steve and I have both stopped at exactly the same bit. I'm photographing it from this angle, and Steve's a bit more square on than me, but I like the way that it crosses over from here. So this is the main interest, this bit here, and that's the bit I'm looking at. Now I know there's going to be some posts that are sticking in as far as we go here, and it's impossible to separate those off really, but I'm not so worried about that, because the main thing for me is this crucifix kind of idea. The sun's coming up to the left over here, and it's not up yet, but even looking through the back of the camera, I can see that this side is a lot darker than that side. So what I might do is put a linear gradient on here and just drag across and just lighten this side up a little bit, just pull the shadows up. But it's quite nice. The light on the side of it also, if you see on the side of this post, you see the light's going to kiss off the side of it, and when it's wet it looks really, really lovely. And I've photographed these before. The brown wood looks really dark, rich red, a really rich brown, so I really like. There's also on the floor here, and you may not be able to see it, just there actually, there's a couple of little defences which again kind of echo the crucifix, and they've got some old bolts sticking through them. It's rusted, and it's very much Happisburgh-ish. I love that kind of feel here. Over to your left, there are some iron sea defences which have got holes carved in them that the sea has done. Amazing kind of patterns and shapes here, and it can actually sometimes look so messy that you just can't get your eye in. But I think the light, the combination of the light, the interesting shapes is what started this off for me. And as I've said before in previous vlogs, sometimes you just have to get the camera out and shoot, and things start coming to you. So looking really good so far. While I'm talking, I'm going to put some pictures up from last night. We were at Grove Mill. So I met Steve and Paul here, and we walked from Horsey Wind Pump to the Grove Mill. Now, I have photographed it before with a drone from the road, but this is the traditional shot. And it was a shot, I didn't bother blogging it because I didn't think it was going to be that great, but actually really, really enjoyed that. I hope you like these images. I quite like them better than I thought they were going to be. So it's been quite a successful trip so far. Let's carry on then and shoot the rest of this, see what else we can find. Right, so here are these metal groins I was telling you about. I've just managed, because the tide's coming in, so I have to be very aware of this beach. I have to be able to get off it, but we've got plenty of time at the moment. But I've just stood over there with the tripod. Can't really show you because it was a little bit perilous. We've got the water splashing over these groins ever so often and swirling around, but I've got the tripod on the sand, and I've managed to get the front of these posts, so the light's shining on the front of them, picks up all the barnacles and all of the green kind of the seaweed that's hanging off it, which is lovely, and it looks beautiful in this early morning light. Sunrise is in 4 minutes time, so it's 4:30, and summer Summer landscape photography is tough because unfortunately that's what time sun rises over here in the UK, so 4:34. So we've had to set the alarms for 3:10, out at 3:30 to get here. We were literally about 10 minutes down the road, which is the good thing about having a van, I guess. So I know I'm going to be tired, but get the shots done. I'll be finished by 7, and then I'll have a little sleep in the camper on the way back home this afternoon after breakfast, of course. But that's hopefully going to look nice. I've got the groins on the left and the posts on the right, looking a lot along the line of these old groins. It's the dynamic range is going to be the thing that's difficult because it's pulling out the shadows. If that's completely black there, and it's going to look a bit boring if the rest of the posts are not black. They've got detail in them, so it's pulling up the shadows, pulling down the highlights, trying to control that. But with a camera like the Z8, the sensor's so brilliant on it, I have no doubt that that's going to look good. Right, we're going to move along the beach a little bit more, see if I can't get some more images from this side, where the light looks good. Ooh, the light looks good. But what a fantastic morning. It's beautifully warm. You know, out in just a hat and this top, absolutely great. Okay, so there might be a composition here. That post there is what has attracted me to the composition. It looks very gnarly and pointy. You can see it's got the waves coming around it, so a longish exposure with an ND might look nice. And actually it might look nice with something like a 15th of a second or 30th, so you get the wave splashing on it and it's kind of frozen but a little bit blurred, if that makes sense. I'll show you, if I can get the picture, I'll show you it, but I kind of feel that it shows the power of it. So this is probably a situation where I wouldn't use an ND and make it long. Well, I might use an ND to control it, but what I want to do is get an exposure of around about a 15th, an 8th or a 30th of a second, just to try and get these waves as they splash on it. And this is what I really love about seascape photography. It's fantastic fun watching the waves come in and timing it right. It's a bit like action photography, I guess. Right, let's see if I can set the camera up and see what we can get for this. So I've got the composition set up now. Got portrait with this, and initially was a bit further in here, but I've just got splashed by a huge wave. So you know the thing about the 7th wave? Well, that's got me. He actually got the camera as well, so I've cleaned it all off. There's a little bit of salt water over the lens, and that's not ideal. And I have had this before on this beach, where you want to get really close, wide angle lens, make it look dramatic, but occasionally you get wet. So I obviously don't want to ruin the gear. So I've moved along, I've separated this spiky post away from the post behind it, and I've also got this line of groins in. And when the water comes around, or when the waves come round this rock, which I think it will in about 10 minutes, I think it might look quite nice. I'm using about a 15th of a second. I'm not getting an awful lot of splash up, so it's not that dramatic. In fact, the splash is on the right hand side, so it makes the picture look a little bit heavy. I might end up using an ND grad or an ND and slowing this down. I've also upped the ISO because I was getting the second exposure, and obviously to get that 15th of a second I needed to up the ISO a little bit and play around with the aperture. I need depth of field to get this row of groins. I think they have to be all in focus pretty much. The lights on the side of these posts really make it stand out. This low light from the horizon bouncing off the sea looks fantastic. I really love this sort of photography. Just want the, whoa, what a big one. See how much fun it is. I just want the tide to come in a little bit, just to go around these boulders, and I'm gonna have to move in a minute. I'm gonna get soaked. But no, let's put this picture on for you and see what you think. Hi, I'm not sure about this shot, but what I've tried to do here, I might just have lost the opportunity, although I have captured a picture. I'm just trying to put the rising sun in one of those holes there. I've gone with the ISO up to 400. I'm trying to use, I need to use a really small aperture to get the sun star, which I have captured a couple of times. And so that's f20. And obviously I need the shutter speed, because what I want to try and do, occasionally the waves are hitting the side of it, and it might look nice. I've tried a long exposure. Steve's tried a long 2-minute exposure to get something completely different. But I think it works. Whether or not I like it or not is another thing. It's a bit kind of twee, I think I used earlier. But as you hear, you might as well try it. Just as the waves come around, they're joining in together. So I'm trying to capture that. Well, there's a sun star. Let me show you. Well, I'm not sure how well that's coming across, but there is definitely a sun star in there. So I'll turn that on again for you. So you can see I've kind of captured it. And that's kind of gonna be what it looks like. But there we go. It's got a bit bright now. And my tummy's rumbling. So I might end, I'm going to grab this camera in a second. I might end it there and say thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. As I record this, the first episode of Thumbs Up the Photography Show went live last night. Absolutely overwhelmed with how well it's been received, how many views we've had, how many subscribers we've already got. If you haven't seen it, and by the time you see this, we're probably going to be on episode 3 or 4. So go and check it out. We're very, very proud, me, Steve and the boys, so proud of what we've achieved with that. It's taken a lot of sweat and tears and arguments and discussion and debates and time. It's taken so much time, but with 5 really good photographers, all with their own skills. We've had Steve's been working on the videos, Gary's been polishing the videos, or everybody's been producing content. It's turned into something that we're really proud of. So go and check it out if you haven't. I'll put the links down below. And from my channel, I'll see you next Sunday. Thanks ever so much for watching. See you next week. Here come the images. Bye.
Easy come and easy go. You're an unfading star, a gentle love, the kind that lifts you up, no matter how far apart. I guess you could call it chance, but we know it's more than that. It's like we've always known that set in stone, unbreakable. It's like